Let's talk about a physicist named David Bohm. He was a thinker who looked at the very foundations of reality and saw a massive crack. And his ideas, well, they don't just challenge physics, they challenge everything you think you know about the world around you.
So let's start with a really simple question. Just for a second, look around you. I mean, really look. You see the chair you're in, the device you're watching this on, it all seems so solid, right? So separate. But what if that's not the whole story? What if it's all just the surface of something much, much deeper? You see, to really get Bohm, you have to understand this huge problem at the heart of modern physics. On one hand, you've got Einstein's general relativity. It's beautiful. A universe of smooth, predictable orbits and this graceful fabric of space-time. But on the other hand, you have quantum mechanics, the absolutely wild, chaotic world of tiny particles, where things just kind of pop in and out of existence with no certainty at all. Here's the kicker. Both theories are proven to be right, yet they describe two completely different realities. For Bohm, this wasn't just some math problem to solve. It was a giant red flag that we were missing something fundamental.
So how in the world do you fix a crack like that? Well, Bohm's answer was breathtaking. He basically said that the reality we see is just a projection, a kind of hologram coming from a much deeper, hidden dimension. He called it a tale of two realities, the implicate and the explicate.
First up, there's the implicate order. Think of it as the universe's source code. It's enfolded. What does that mean? It means everything is completely interwoven with everything else in one single unbroken whole. In this deeper reality, there are no separate parts, no things, just a continuous, flowing movement. This, he said, is the real ground of all existence.
And then there's the explicated order. This is the world that unfolds out of that deeper layer. It's the world you and I see and touch every single day, a world of separate objects, separate people, and time ticking forward. But, and this is the key, Bohm insisted this is just the surface. It's like a temporary ripple on a vast, hidden ocean. This table really helps lay it all out. You've got the implicate, which is hidden, fundamental, and non-locally connected. That's a mind-bender right there. It means distance doesn't matter. Everything is connected to everything else, instantly. Then you've got the explicate, which is what we see, a world that seems local and separate. The big takeaway here is pretty profound. The separation we experience every day might just be an illusion, a projection from a reality of complete and total connection.
Okay, I know. This idea of a hidden, enfolded reality, it can be really hard to wrap your head around. I mean, our brains are wired to see a world of separate things. So Bohm, being a brilliant teacher, came up with some amazing metaphors to help us get it. First, think about a hologram. If you tear a photograph in half, you get half an image. Simple enough. But with a holographic plate, something incredible happens. If you break off even a tiny little piece of it, that one small piece still contains the entire three-dimensional image. It's a perfect way to think about the implicate order. The entire universe is enfolded within every single part of it.
Okay, next up, the ink drop. Picture this. You drop some ink into a really thick liquid, like glycerin. Then you slowly start turning a cylinder inside it. The ink drop stretches out and out until it becomes an invisible thread. It looks like it completely vanished into randomness. But the order isn't gone. It's just hidden. It's enfolded. Because the moment you reverse the rotation, poof, the ink drop magically reappears. That drop we see is just one unfolded possibility from a hidden order.
Or how about this one, the fish tank? Imagine two cameras are filming the same single fish but from different angles, say from the front and from the side. On two TV monitors, you see what looks like two different fish, and their movements are perfectly, almost magically synchronized. You can invent all sorts of complicated theories to explain how they're communicating, what Einstein called spooky action at a distance. But the real explanation is simple. They aren't two separate things at all. They're just two different limited projections of a single, deeper reality. Now, these are all fascinating metaphors for physics, for sure. But for Bohm, this was never just an abstract theory about particles. He took it one giant step further. If particles aren't truly separate, well, what about us? If the entire universe is one undivided whole, then what does that say about the separation we feel between our minds and our bodies?
And this is where things get really personal. This line of thinking led him to one of his most powerful ideas, something he called soma significance. It was his answer to that ancient question, how do the mind and the body actually connect?
Bohm's argument was just stunningly simple. He said, mind and matter aren't two different things that somehow have to interact. Soma, which is the Greek word for the body, and significance, or meaning, are just two sides of the exact same coin. They are one single indivisible process. Meaning isn't just some abstract idea floating around in your head, it's a physical, real, formative power in the universe.
And he gave this perfect, really powerful example. Imagine you're walking down a dark alley and you see a shadow. That's the physical form, the soma. Your mind instantly gives it a meaning, a significance. You interpret it as an assailant. So what happens next? That meaning, that thought, immediately and directly changes your physical body. Adrenaline floods your system. Your heart starts pounding. The meaning became physical. See? The mind and body are one continuous process.
And from that incredible insight, Bohm took another huge leap. He started to argue that this illusion of separation between our minds and bodies, between me and you, between humanity and nature, was the root cause of basically all our global problems. He called it humanity's disease of thought. We see the world as a collection of broken pieces, separate nations, competing people, us versus nature, and we completely failed to see that our own thinking is what creates these divisions in the first place. We keep trying to solve all these problems out there, but Bohm argued the real problem is in here, in the fragmented way our minds work. Our thought literally creates a broken world, and then we stand back and wonder why it's so broken.
So what's the cure for this disease? Bohm suggested we need to develop what he called proprioception of thought. I know, it's a mouthful, but the idea is actually really simple. You know how your body has proprioception? It's how you can close your eyes and still touch your nose. Your body is aware of itself in space. Well, Bohm believed thought needs the same skill. It needs to become aware of its own movements, to watch itself building our reality, without getting totally lost in the stories it tells.
And here's the cool thing about Bohm. He wasn't just a theorist, he was deeply practical. He actually tried to develop tools to help us all cultivate this new, holistic way of seeing the world.
He even designed a few practical tools for this new consciousness. For example, he played around with an experimental language he called the Rio mode, which was based on verbs instead of nouns, to help us talk about a universe that's always flowing, not made of static things. He also created something called Bohmian dialogue, a kind of group conversation where the goal isn't to win or argue, but for everyone to just suspend their assumptions and watch how thought actually works, together.
This quote from Bohm really just brings it all home. Wholeness is what is real, and fragmentation is the response to man's action, guided by illusory perception. The universe, at its core, is whole. Our problems, our fragmentation, all come from us acting on the illusion that it's not.
And all of this leaves us with a final, really profound question to think about. If Bohm is right, if you and me and the trees outside and the stars in the sky, if we are all just different expressions of one single, undivided, interconnected reality, how would you act differently starting right now?